This is all the parts laid out for the desk except for the desktop. It does come with quite a few parts and hardware, but it seems like it'll be a relatively fast build. Let's see how long it takes. One was to add these side supports to your crossmember beam here. They're like roughly triangular supports, and then there's that cross support right there. That builds the underside structure for your desk. So this is how you line up the supports on the bottom, and you use these wood screws to attach them. But once I've installed all of those screws and tightened down these bolts to lock everything in place, so that's 4 screws on each end, 8, 4 screws in the center, 12, and then 8 of these to tighten down. And that should get us to the place where we need to put this into its place. Doing it one-handed, folks. Just settles right down there, slides out to lock. And that's the end of that step. To hold this all together is these little retainer clips with these cotter pins. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those in place. Oops, there's the cotter pins. Let's get those bad boys out as well. It's actually kind of convenient, which means you can take this apart pretty easily. So you'll see that there's a hole there, and there's a hole on the other side. And we're going to try to get those retainer clips to go in there. Yeah, we've got that locked down in place. Let's see if we can actually show you the process. I want to put the long end in first. So that's going to go over there. It works better if you leave it flat like that. And this whole thing gets pushed over, and I won't lie, it's not a left-handed process. Alright, I'm going to do it with my right hand. So once those are locked in place, we use the cotter pins right there just to secure them so they don't go anywhere. That'll keep it from going anywhere if somebody pulls down on this bar. Quite honestly, there's a lot of tension under that bar, so this is not going anywhere unless somebody really gets in here and gets a good grip and pulls. Alright, cool. I guess to the last step of the structure here, it's a good time to get an overview of what we've done. We put the legs on, we put the braces on. We've done a center bracelet on the tabletop, and the last thing we've got to do is put the feet on here. These big heavy pieces are what we're using for legs, or for feet rather, which is good because it gives you a nice broad understanding to keep the desk from tipping, which is going to be important since it's going to move up and down. And then from that on, it's going to be wiring, I think. Alright, I'm going to put some bolts, 4 bolts in here, and then do the same on the other side, and then we'll start wiring up the electrics. Okay, and there we are. Those are the final legs secured. I'm going to move on to the electrics. I just wanted to show you those bolts. So you have to secure this box in place right here, and mine didn't come with a pre-drill, so I just kind of manually forced one of the wood screws in there, and then you plug this little plug into here, and its end is a straight end that goes onto the motor. And you do that twice. That's what it looks like when you're done, and you should be able to get a nice clean look using those wire clips. It might be worth showing you the process I used. I first plugged my straight into my straight. That allowed me to bring the whole thing to the wire clip, then curve it around, and then use the actual wire itself to hold a little bit of that end. So I'm going to use the wire clip again to hold this in place. You don't really want a whole bunch of dangling wires underneath. So I'm going to push that into the wire clip, and I'll bring this back around this way, pop it into the wire clip, and then plug it in. And then you see the wire itself holds the wire in place. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's just kind of to keep things clean and keep all the lines nice. Alright folks, the last step is, last 2 steps actually, is going to be to run the power cord, which is going to come from over here, and that will help to pin down some of this as well. And then to run the control panels, which will come from down there. Alright, let's look at that.